It's really great to see you all here. I've really been looking forward to this. It's been clear throughout our program that the impact of artificial intelligence technologies is being felt in every region across the world. We're going to spend some time now discussing Italy in particular to gain a sense of how AI research and commercialization is driving the economic growth over there. So I'd like to invite our panelists to join me here on stage now. Welcome. I'm going to do some introductions first. Marco Saladini, the gentleman furthest from me, Trade Commissioner of the Italian Trade Agency, followed by Amedeo Cesta, Research Director, Italian National Research Council, and then our entrepreneur, Luca Ascari, Director of Biomedical Research, Camlin, Italy. And I'm going to allow them to do a few minutes of introductions first, starting with Marco. Welcome.
Thank you, Antoinette. I would like to make 3 quick points here. What is ITA, the Italian Trade Agency? It's a governmental agency. We have 5 offices in the US, and we do trade and investment promotion. Of course, we try to strengthen ties, business ties between Italian and non-Italian companies, intermediaries, public sector entities. I'm in charge of the Chicago office, and I'm also conveying the greetings of our consul, Mr. Lorenzo Ortona, our president, Mr. Michele Scannavini, and the director of ITA LA, who is in charge of business development in the area of information technology. His name is Florindo Blandolino. And the second point I want to make is why we are here today. I'm sure you have done your homework. You know that Italy has much to offer in addition to good food, art, and pleasant landscapes, right? So let's take that aside. But today we want to bring about some stories and facts on the relationship between Italy and the international network of research and development, which is fostering disruptive innovations as those we're seeing here and classified generally under the artificial intelligence tag at this wonderful event, EmTech Digital. And my role today is to help everyone understand how we at the Italian government are supporting this relationship and nurturing it so that artificial intelligence can continue to be considered actually Italian. And the third point I want to make very quickly is to give you a snapshot about the expenditure in research and development. We have an overall figure of $30 billion a year in Italy, and 12 come from government, 14 from businesses, 2.8 from public and private foreign sources. Within the private category sector, we have 1.8 for computer, 1.7 for information and communication, and 1.8 for a range of services from professional, scientific, technical, administrative, up to support. So those are my 3 quick facts.
Thank you very much. Amedeo.
Good morning to everybody. I'm Amedeo Cesta, research scientist at CNR, the Italian National Research Council, working specifically in the Institute of Cognitive Science and Technology, that is a sort of heterogeneous environment with human scientists and technologists in the hard sense. I here have a double role. On one sense, I'm a research scientist in AI since 30 years, leading a group in my institute, working about planning, deciding what to do to achieve goals, decided when to do action functional to your plan, and have the right resourcing for doing them. So let's say that it typical is an area of AI that is useful for achieving autonomy. And recently I have been applying these things in the interaction between human and machines, in particular in robotics for factory and in helping people at home, and trying to understand the double phase of this. My other role is the one that I'm here representing, the Italian AI Association, that is a network of universities, research centers, and industries that represent the ecology in Italy of those that deal with AI. And I will try to say something about the good, the less good. I don't want to say the bad, but let's say it. I'll try to describe the situation with respect to Italy in this respect.
Thank you. Luca?
Yeah, good afternoon to everybody. I'm an electrical engineer by training with a PhD in biorobotics at Scuola Sant'Anna in Pisa, but I've always been interested also in neuroscience, neuromorphic computation, and embedded artificial intelligence. While at the university, I developed artificial perception systems, mainly vision and touch system for safe grasping of slippery objects. While in 2007, I founded Genesis, which was an AI-based startup company. And we built our AI platform together with Toyota following an open innovation program. Then in 2014, I took the company into the Camlin Group, which is a family-owned multinational industrial company based in Northern Ireland. And we became, since then, the Group Competence Center in Artificial Intelligence. Our role is to empower with artificial intelligence all the products of the group, which range from monitoring railway assets to power monitoring stations and so on. We are 32 engineers, researchers, half of them AI expert. And my mandate was specifically to take Camlin into the healthcare sector, which was new for the company. And specifically, we are developing a brain-computer interface, a motor brain-computer interface, together with the National Research Council, the Institute of Neuroscience. And another prototype, which I had the occasion and the possibility to try to transform into a real product, is what I think will become a real game changer in the at-home post-stroke rehabilitation for many patients. That's it.
Great. Okay, so Amedeo, let's start with you. Let's get a sense of the state of AI in Italy now.
Well, let's say that in Italy there is a really very competent group of researchers sparse over the Italian university. Maybe many of you may know some names in different areas of AI, and they are internationally known. These sum up more or less about, let's say, 400 researchers between the senior one and the young, and represent the basic ecosystem. This is reinforced by some research centers that are in different places, and there is also the backbone offered by the Institute of CNR that are parts of the country. And these are the people. The Italian Association of AI exists since 1988 and has been trying to gather these people, to create the networking so that people can effectively apply to research problem in the country and abroad. Abroad is relatively easy because we are very competent researchers, very good researchers, so it is easy to compete at that level. In Italy, it's a little bit more difficult. On one hand, we have this situation of a very strong research community, but quite often, sometimes, is weaker the connection with the industrial sector. And this is why we are also here for trying to foster with the connection with additional networking. And this is why we also teamed up with the Italian Trade Agency for reinforcing this part. From my point of view, it's very important that we, on one hand, clearly participate in the international research scenario, and so we have experts in machine learning, in knowledge representation and reasoning, in planning and acting, whatever. There was a movie before that was mentioning some of these areas, and I cannot mention all of them, but it's also extremely important that we understand which is the space of the problems in our country. The problems mean what we have to solve with AI in our country. And I will mention the connection with manufacturing. I'm pretty sure that Marco will say something about it. I will mention the relation with the citizen, with the public administration. This is a well-known problem. Citizens feel very often alone when dealing with the public administration. And I would also mention the problem of the older population. Italy is very similar to Japan. We have all these old people. And this is a huge potential area for applied research in Italy.
Right. So I think this is a good segue to Luca, to commercialization. Why don't you discuss the path of commercialization with us in Italy? And we'd really like to hear how you got a product to market there.
Yeah. So AI has a huge potential for healthcare because the potential is taking the point of care from the hospital to the patient's house, and this makes everything easier if it's properly done and properly managed. To make this feasible, we need to have AI in the edge, because the system must work even without connection. And another initial point is that the system must be conceived around the user and not around the AI. So AI as a component, as a bridge, which needs to speak the language of the therapist, the language of the patient, and the language of the hospital, and the language of the AI specialist. So what we did was to take from day one at the same table patients, therapists, AI expert, electrical engineers, and so on. And we struggled to make them speak the same language. That was not easy. The second point is that the AI must be able to run in an opportunistic way, meaning 24 hours a day, understanding by itself when it's the case to intervene or not. And this is something which requires some deal of work. Essentially this, to make it possible from a company point of view, I think this is the recipe. AI has the potentiality to make an industrial product, which is the only one that a company can produce and sell, to transform it into a sartorial garment, which is able to learn by itself, adapt to the therapist. For instance, in our case, the therapist is completely free to invent a new exercise. The system learns it, learns how the patient does it, and follows the progress. The system is able to understand what the patient is doing in the everyday life activities, so without the therapist be there. So there are two layers of AI. One, which is the one building the context and giving a meaning to the data. And then there is the second layer of AI doing the main things, which is understanding the exercise or detecting which activity is being done, and so on and so forth. From a technical point of view, I think one success was, or one good choice was to ensure that the development platform is the same as the product platform. So the developers can develop algorithms without taking too much attention on their simplification and reduction when they will go into the real product. These are the recipes.
Can you tell me a little bit about how you went about securing funding?
Oh, that's easy. You know the 3F for a startup: family, friends, and fools. Okay, my case was family. I got a few tens of thousands of euros from an uncle. And we bootstrapped from that. And in our case, there was Toyota, which was essential because it was customer number one. And we built, thanks to them, all our platform all our AI platform from scratch in this open innovation mode. One thing which is important, I think, is that the company should control the full path of signal from the acquisition to the final, let's say, high-level processing. AI needs to get their hands dirty with signals, because when they come from human, they are never clean, they are always dirty, corrupted, and everything. So it's important for a company developing AI products to control the signal and data layer, and then to leverage on it for the development.
I'd like to throw the next question over to Marco, and talk a little bit about the importance of policy, investment strategies, to ensure that this research is actually supported. Can you provide more success stories like Luca's?
Yes, I'll try to take this very important subject from 2 points of view. The point of view of companies that operate in Italy and companies that want to connect with Italy. So the first one is what is available in Italy. Of course, government supports directly, as we saw before, the 12 billion figure that I gave in the introduction, supports directly research and development via universities, research centers. One of them that is well known is the Italian Institute of Technology in Genoa, and the network of research centers belonging to the National Council for Research. There is Industry 4.0 plan incentives that are generating a lot of demand for IT products, including AI, and has several areas which are mobilizing investment, working on infrastructure, training and building competencies, disseminating awareness, and building public-private governance. And there is a very important law that's been developed between 2011 and 2012 about innovative startup protection and support, which makes easier to enter and exit the venture, reduces costs for registration, lowers taxes through tax credits, and introduces flexible staff management tools. So this is the array that I would like to mention as far as operating in Italy is concerned. Then, what is available to connect with Italy? This is also where we come in as an agency. We are now running in the US a series of events called the Innovation Days, and definitely there will be a place for manufacturing in one of them, the one coming up in June in Chicago and Detroit, which of course is always interrelated with AI and new technologies in the IT area. We bring delegations into Italy, investors in particular, to 2 events, the Innovation and High Technology Exchange in April and the Italia Restarts Up event in September, to look at our startups and see if they want to take the chance to invest with them and with possibly other venture capitalists that they will meet there at these events that are matchmaking events. We come to make a fair soon in the Bay Area in September, and we will bring more companies there that are also related to this area. And we have a network of officers and counselors. One of them is here today with us, is Alberto Acito. Please stand up, Alberto, and make yourself recognized. Is our investment attraction officer here in San Francisco. So please be welcome to direct your questions on how to further get in touch and get situated in the Italian context. I don't want to mention other programs, but one of them is nice, and just so I take an extra 10 seconds. Business, investor, and startup visa. So your life is easy when you want to enter our country. That's all.
Thank you. Do we have opportunity, Laura, for one question, or we do? Does anyone from the audience have a question for us? For our esteemed guest panelists? Bob.
The availability of young talent in a country full of old people.
The question was from Bob, from Santa Barbara, an MIT alumnus of class of 68, is that correct? 63. What is the availability of talent in Italy in a country of, I think he said, old people?
No, the issue is exactly this one. Thanks for your question, because my problem is to keep the people in Italy. Because in this moment, it's very easy. People is less connected with the networking in the country. People can live very easily and also find good salaries somewhere else. But these inevitably, the power, the good in the research, local research. So the reason I'm here in particular is because I really want to create a future with some of them. I'm not necessarily against the fact that people go abroad. No, I don't want to be misinterpreted, but it's also important that we create opportunities in the country. Luca is one of these examples, a successful example. But there are not that many. And so if we are able to create the networking for improving this is an incredible opportunity. Thanks again for your question.
Great. Luca, do you have a closing remark on Bob's question?
Actually, there are many good and smart talents, not only in AI. In Italy, we have a high growth ratio, generation ratio of new ideas and also new innovative startups in the field of AI, but we have a very low scaling up ratio. And this has many reasons, the kind of VC, the political environment, and so on and so forth. So I think that many success stories could be built joining the high creativity, which is still present in Italy, and I think history speaks by itself, with the power of investment that other foreign investors or VCs, like in the US, can have. Another point, and this is the story of Camlin, we are expanding, we are hiring, also in Italy, but we don't try to get people from all over the world in one place. We try to go where creativity is, because for us, people are the most important things. So this is an invitation to come and see what is there in Italy, because it's much more brilliant than what you might imagine.
Well, there we have an open invitation.
Yep.
So thank you for being here, gentlemen. Before we close, I do believe we have a short video to share.
There's a word, more than any other, that describes what Made in Italy is about: excellence. Thanks to thousands of companies spreading our know-how throughout the world. Infrastructure, pharmaceutics, machinery, food and beverages, fashion, design. Real excellence, turning Italy into a future and innovation-driven country. Today, more than ever, thanks to the National Industry 4.0 plan, the new government plan aiming to bolster our industrial competitiveness, to seize the new opportunities brought by the digital revolution, to make Italy the best place to invest.
Thank you very much. That was very informative. Thank you for welcoming in.
Thank you.
Thank you.